Alright, let's get the important legal stuff out of the way first because your financial safety is my #1 priority. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for educational and informational purposes only. The world of cryptocurrency is volatile and carries significant risk. You should always do your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions. My goal here is to empower you with knowledge, not to give you direct financial advice. Now let's talk about a guy named David. David was smart, he had a good job, and he saw his friends making incredible returns in crypto. He was ready to jump in. He Googled buy Bitcoin, clicked on the first flashy ad he saw, and signed up for an exchange that promised zero fees and instant trades. Felt easy. Too easy. A few months later, he tried to withdraw some of his profits. The transaction was pending for a week. Customer service was a ghost. Then the news broke. The exchange had been operating in a gray area, and regulators shut it down. David's account? Frozen. His initial investment and all his gains gone. Not because he made a bad trade, but because he chose the wrong platform. This story isn't unique. I hear versions of it every single week, and it highlights the single biggest mistake new investors make. They spend 100 hours researching what coin to buy, but maybe 10 minutes deciding where to buy it. And that single decision, the platform you choose, is arguably more important than picking the right coin. It's the foundation of your entire crypto journey. Choosing the wrong one is like building a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It doesn't matter how brilliant your investment strategy is if the platform holding your assets collapses. The problem is you're facing a wall of options. Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, Binance US, Crypto.com. There are dozens of exchanges available in the United States, and they all have massive marketing budgets telling you they're the best, the safest, the cheapest. It's designed to be overwhelming. It's designed to make you just pick one and hope for the best. But hope is not a strategy. So, in this video I'm going to cut through all of that noise. I'm going to give you the exact 5-point vetting system that professional traders and even venture capitalists use to analyze a crypto exchange. This isn't just another top 5 exchanges list. Those videos are useless. They're outdated the moment they're uploaded because the crypto space changes at lightning speed. An exchange that was great last year might be a huge risk this year. Instead, I'm going to teach you how to think. I'm arming you with a timeless framework, a mental toolkit, that will allow you to evaluate any exchange and confidently make the right choice for your specific needs. Today, tomorrow, and 5 years from now, we're going to break this down into 5 critical factors. First, and most importantly, security. This is the bedrock. Second, the fee structure, because hidden costs can absolutely destroy your returns. Third, asset selection and availability, making sure the exchange actually has what you want to buy. Fourth is liquidity and user experience, which is all about how easily and efficiently you can trade. And fifth, the one most people completely ignore until it's too late: regulatory compliance and customer support. By the end of this, you will be able to look at any crypto platform and know within minutes whether it's a fortress for your funds or a ticking time bomb. Let's start with the absolute non-negotiable: security. Before you even look at the logo, the fees, or the cool charts, you must answer one simple question: if I put my money here, is it fundamentally safe? Nothing else matters if the answer is no. Security isn't just one thing. It's a layered defense system. And the first layer you need to look for is something called proof of reserves. Now, this sounds technical, but the concept is simple. After the spectacular collapse of FTX, where customer funds just vanished, the industry had a wake-up call. Proof of reserves is an exchange's way of publicly proving that they hold customer assets one-to-one. They use cryptographic methods to show, here are all the assets our customers have deposited with us, and here is proof that we actually hold those assets in our own wallets. It's like a bank letting a third-party auditor come in and verify that the money they claim to have in the vault is actually there. An exchange that does not provide regular, audited proof of reserves is a massive red flag. It means they are asking you to just trust them. And in the world of crypto, the entire philosophy is, don't trust, verify. If an exchange isn't willing to prove they have your funds, you have to ask yourself why. Are they using your funds for risky bets? Are they insolvent? You don't want to be the one to find out the hard way. So your first piece of homework for any exchange you consider: go to their website and find their proof of reserves or audits page. If you can't find it, or if it hasn't been updated in months, that's a serious warning sign. The second layer of security is insurance. This is a critical point for us here in the US. You hear FDIC insured all the time with your bank account. This means if your bank fails, The US government insures your cash deposits up to $250,000. Many top-tier crypto exchanges in the US will have FDIC insurance on the US dollar cash balances you hold in your account. This is great. It means the cash you have sitting there waiting to be invested is protected. But here's the crucial distinction you have to understand. That FDIC insurance does not cover your crypto assets. It does not cover your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, or anything else. For that, you need to look for a different kind of insurance, private third-party digital asset insurance. This is insurance that the exchange buys from companies like Lloyd's of London to protect against losses from things like a sophisticated external hack, a breach of their cold storage systems. The best exchanges carry hundreds of millions of dollars in this type of coverage. They will be proud of it and advertise it. Look for an insurance or security page on their website that details their policy. If they don't mention digital asset insurance, assume they don't have it, and understand that if their platform is hacked, your crypto could be gone forever with no recourse. The third and final layer of security is your own personal operational security, or OPSEC. The best exchange in the world can't protect you if your own account is easy to break into. The absolute, mandatory, non-negotiable feature you must use is two-factor authentication, or 2FA. This means that to log in you need two things: your password, something you know, and a code from a separate device, usually your phone, something you have. Please do not use SMS or text message-based 2FA. It's notoriously insecure. Hackers can use a technique called SIM swapping to steal your phone number, get your 2FA codes, and drain your account in minutes. You must use an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Authy. It's a separate app on your phone that generates a new time-sensitive code every 30 seconds. It's infinitely more secure. If an exchange doesn't offer app-based 2FA, close the tab and never go back. It means they are not serious about security. For an extra layer of protection, the best exchanges also offer something called address whitelisting. This feature allows you to create a pre-approved list of crypto addresses that you're allowed to withdraw funds to. If a hacker gets into your account, they can't just send your Bitcoin to their own wallet. They can only send it to addresses you've already vetted, like your own hardware wallet. It's a powerful feature that essentially locks down where your money can go. So let's recap your security checklist. For any exchange you consider, you must confirm these three things. 1. Do they publish regular third-party audited proof of reserves? 2. Do they have FDIC insurance for your cash and, more importantly, a separate significant insurance policy for digital assets? And 3. Do they support and enforce strong security practices for you, the user, like app-based 2FA and address whitelisting? If you get a no on any of these, it's a major risk and you should probably look elsewhere. Getting this first step right is 90% of the battle. But winning 90% of the battle means nothing if you lose the war. And there's a silent war being waged on your portfolio. A death by 1,000 cuts that can bleed you dry even if you pick every single winning coin. I'm talking about our second key factor, fees. And this isn't just about a few percentage points here and there. This is about the fundamental difference between building wealth and just spinning your wheels. Think about it. Every single action you take on an exchange, buying, selling, sending, withdrawing, can have a fee attached. It's like a tiny tax on every move you make. And while a single tax might seem insignificant, they compound into a monstrous drain on your potential gains. Let me tell you a quick story about a guy I knew back in 2021. Let's call him Dave. Dave was smart. He did his research, he understood market cycles, and he found a project he believed in. He bought in, and over the next few months the coin did a 2x. He doubled his money. On paper, he was a genius. He felt like a king. But Dave used an exchange that marketed itself as simple and beginner-friendly. He didn't look at the fee schedule. Why would he? It was confusing, full of terms like maker, taker, and spread. He just wanted to click buy. So he did. When he bought his crypto, the simple exchange charged him a convenience fee, plus a hidden fee baked into the price, called the spread. He didn't notice. When he decided to sell at the top, feeling like a Wall Street titan, he clicked sell. The exchange took another slice. A big one. Then, when he went to withdraw his winnings, his glorious US dollars, back to his bank account, they hit him with another fee. A flat fee plus a percentage of his withdrawal. By the time the money hit his bank account, Dave's 100% gain had shrunk to just over 60%. Nearly half of his profit was gone. Vanished. Eaten by the very platform that was supposed to help him succeed. Dave didn't lose to the market. He lost to the house. He won the game but lost the prize because he didn't understand the rules of the casino he was playing in. This is the most common and soul-crushing mistake new investors make. They focus so much on what to buy that they completely ignore where they buy it. So let's break down the fee structure so you never ever end up like Dave. First, you have the most obvious cost, trading fees. These are typically charged as a percentage of your trade value. But this is where it gets tricky. You'll see two words, maker and taker. This is not complicated, so don't let it intimidate you. A taker is someone who places an order that gets filled immediately at the market price. You are taking liquidity off the books. You want to buy Bitcoin right now, you hit the market buy button, you get your Bitcoin instantly. For that convenience, you pay a higher fee. A maker, on the other hand, is someone who places an order that doesn't fill immediately. You're placing a limit order to buy Bitcoin if it drops to a certain price, for example. Your order sits on the order book, adding liquidity. Because you're helping the exchange create a healthier market, they reward you with a lower fee. Many of the simple exchanges effectively force you to always be a taker. They only give you a buy and sell button, which is a market order in disguise. You're always paying the highest possible fee. A world-class exchange will give you the option to place limit orders and become a maker, instantly lowering your trading costs. The difference might seem small, say 0.1% for a maker fee versus 0.2% for a taker fee, but if you're making dozens or hundreds of trades, this adds up to thousands of dollars. But the trading fee is only part of the story. The real silent killer, the one that got Dave, is the spread. The spread is the difference between the highest price a buyer is willing to pay for an asset and the lowest price a seller is willing to accept. On exchanges with lots of buyers and sellers, what we call high liquidity, this spread is usually razor-thin, a fraction of a penny. But on some exchanges, especially the ones that scream zero commission or commission-free trading, they make their money by artificially widening this spread. So if Bitcoin's real market price is $60,000, they might show you a buy price of $60,300 and a sell price of $59,700. That $600 difference is the spread. It's a hidden built-in fee. If you buy and then immediately sell, you'd instantly lose $600. They can claim no trading fees because their profit is baked right into the price they offer you. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, and it's how they prey on beginners. A great exchange will have a tight spread, meaning the price you buy at is very close to the price you can sell at. So, you've navigated the maker-taker fees, you've avoided the wide spreads, and you've made a successful trade. You're not out of the woods yet. Now you have to deal with withdrawal fees. This is the final gatekeeper between you and your money. There are two kinds of withdrawals, fiat and crypto. Fiat withdrawal is moving US dollars back to your bank account. Some exchanges will charge you a flat fee, like $25 for a wire transfer. Others will charge a percentage. Some, the good ones, will let you do an ACH transfer for free. You absolutely must know this number before you sign up. Paying $25 every time you want to take profits is infuriating. Then there are crypto withdrawal fees. This is when you want to move your coins off the exchange to your own private wallet for safekeeping, which, by the way, is something you should always plan to do for long-term holds. The exchange will charge you a fee to process this transaction on the blockchain. Now, every blockchain has a network fee that's normal. But some exchanges will gouge you. They'll charge you a fee that is 5 or 10 times higher than the actual network cost and pocket the difference. Imagine buying $1,000 worth of a smaller altcoin, and then discovering it costs $50 to move it to your own wallet. It's highway robbery, plain and simple. So what's the action plan? How do you dissect an exchange's fee schedule like a surgeon and protect your capital? It's a simple 4-step check. 1. Transparency. Go to the exchange's website right now. Can you find a link that says fees or fee schedule? In less than 15 seconds. When you click it, is the information presented in a clear, easy-to-understand table? Or is it buried in a 40-page legal document written in gibberish? If you can't easily understand how they're going to charge you, it's because they don't want you to. That is a massive red flag. Run. 2. The trading fee test. Look at their maker and taker fees. Is there a significant discount for being a maker? Do they offer volume-based discounts, meaning the more you trade, the lower your fees become? Good exchanges reward their active users. Predatory ones charge everyone the same high, flat rate. 3. The spread test. This takes a little more work, but it's crucial. Open the exchange in one tab and a reliable price tracker like CoinMarketCap or TradingView in another. Look at the price of Bitcoin on both. Are they close? Or is the exchange's buy price significantly higher? Do this for a few different coins. A consistently wide spread tells you a lot about how that exchange really makes its money. 4. The exit fee test. Find their withdrawal fees. What is the fee to send Bitcoin to an external wallet? What is the fee to send Ethereum? What is the fee and method for withdrawing US dollars? Compare these to a few other exchanges. You'll quickly see who is offering a fair rate and who is setting up a toll booth to trap your money. Choosing an exchange based on fees isn't about being cheap. It's about being a professional. It's about recognizing that every dollar you pay in unnecessary fees is a dollar that isn't compounding for your future. It's the difference between Dave, who lost nearly half his profits to the house, and the savvy investor who keeps what they earn. Security gets you in the door, but understanding fees is what allows you to stay in the game long enough to win. But even the most secure, lowest fee exchange in the world is utterly useless if it doesn't have the one thing you actually came for: the crypto assets you want to buy. And just as importantly, if there's no one else there to trade with you, you could be stuck holding the bag forever. This brings us to our third, and arguably most critical factor: asset selection and liquidity. Because finding an exchange with low fees is pointless if they don't even have the assets you want to buy, or if there's no one there to sell them to you when you're ready to cash out. Imagine walking into a grocery store. You've heard they have the best prices in town. You've checked their security, it's top-notch. But you walk in and all they sell is milk and eggs. That's it. You can't buy bread, you can't buy steak, you can't buy the ingredients for that amazing new recipe you wanted to try. The low prices don't matter if they don't have what you want to buy. This is the exact same situation you can find yourself in with a crypto exchange. Every single US compliant exchange will offer you the two titans, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's the bare minimum, the milk and eggs of the crypto world. If an exchange doesn't have those, you should run in the other direction. But the real difference, the factor that separates the simple convenience store from the sprawling supermarket, is their selection of altcoins. Altcoins, or alternative coins, are everything else. From established players like Solana and Cardano to newer, more speculative projects in gaming, AI, or decentralized finance. The crypto universe is expanding at a breathtaking pace, and new, potentially revolutionary projects launch every single week. Being early to the right project can be life-changing, but you can't be early if your exchange won't let you in the door. I remember a friend back in 2020. He was brilliant, did his research, and became absolutely convinced that a small, relatively unknown project called Chainlink was going to be massive. He saw its potential to connect real-world data to the blockchain. The problem? His exchange, a very popular, user-friendly one at the time, didn't list it. He had to watch for months from the sidelines as the price started to climb, feeling completely powerless. He eventually went through the hassle of opening and funding an account on a second, more complicated exchange just to buy it. He still did well, but he missed out on the explosive initial run-up simply because his chosen store didn't stock the right product. This is a story that plays out every single day. So before you even think about entering your email address to sign up for an exchange, you need to play detective. Go to their website. Look for a link that says markets, prices, trade, or supported assets. It's usually right there in the main navigation. Click it and scroll. Is it just a handful of coins you've already heard of? Or is it a long, diverse list that shows they're actively keeping up with the market? Do they have the specific projects you're interested in? If you don't have any specific projects in mind yet, look at the categories. Do they offer coins in different sectors like DeFi, NFTs, or Layer 2 scaling solutions? A wide selection is a sign of a forward-thinking exchange that gives you options. It gives you the freedom to act on your own research without being limited by their choices. There's even a phenomenon in the crypto world known as the Coinbase effect. Historically, when a major, trusted US exchange like Coinbase announced it was listing a smaller altcoin, that coin's price would often surge dramatically. Why? Because it was suddenly exposed to a massive new pool of buyers and seen as having passed a certain level of legitimacy. Being on an exchange that is known for carefully selecting and listing promising new projects can give you a front-row seat to this kind of action. But here's the crucial counterpoint. More is not always better. Be very wary of exchanges that seem to list every new coin under the sun, especially those based outside the US that offer thousands of obscure assets. This can be a massive red flag. It often means they're doing zero due diligence, simply listing anything to attract trading fees from people gambling on low-quality meme coins. It's the equivalent of a supermarket with no quality control, where half the food on the shelves is expired. A curated selection from a reputable US exchange shows they have a vetting process, which provides a layer of protection for you. So you found an exchange that lists the assets you want. The store has your favorite brand of coffee. Fantastic. But having the coin listed is only half the battle. The other, more invisible half is liquidity. Let me ask you this. Would you rather own a one-of-a-kind mansion in the middle of a desert, 100 miles from the nearest town? Or a standard 3-bedroom house in the heart of New York City? The mansion is technically worth more, but if you need to sell it tomorrow, who's going to buy it? You might have to slash the price by 50% just to find a single buyer. The house in New York, however, you could sell in an hour. You'd have dozens of offers, all competing and driving the price to its true market value. That, right there, is liquidity. It's the measure of how easily you can buy or sell an asset without drastically affecting its price. In crypto, it means there are a huge number of buyers and sellers actively trading a specific coin on that specific exchange at any given moment. High liquidity is the bustling New York City real estate market. Low liquidity is that lonely mansion in the desert. And let me be clear, low liquidity is dangerous. It can cost you a fortune in hidden ways. The most common is something called slippage. Let's say you see a coin trading at exactly $10. You want to buy $1,000 worth, so you place a market order for 100 coins. But the exchange has low liquidity. There aren't enough sellers at $10. So to fill your order, the exchange's engine has to go up the list. It buys the few coins available at $10, then the next few at $10.01, then $10.02, and so on. By the time your entire order is filled, your average purchase price isn't $10, it's $10.15. That's slippage. It's a 1.5% hidden fee you just paid because there wasn't enough liquidity. It's even worse when you're trying to sell in a panic. During a market crash, everyone is rushing for the exits. On an illiquid exchange, the price can plummet far faster and harder because there are no buyers to absorb the selling pressure. You might try to sell at $9 but end up getting filled at $7.50, or worse, your order might not fill at all. You're stuck in that desert mansion while a wildfire approaches. So how do you check for this invisible force? There are 3 key indicators. First, look at the 24-hour trading volume for the specific asset on that specific exchange. This number is usually displayed prominently on the trading page. This tells you how much money has changed hands in that asset over the last day. Is it a few $1,000s? That's a ghost town. Is it millions or tens of millions? That's a bustling city. You can also use third-party sites like CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko to compare the volume for the same coin across different exchanges. You want to be on the one with the highest volume. Second, if you're a bit more advanced, you can look at the order book. This is the live real-time list of all the buy and sell orders waiting to be filled. It might look like 2 columns of numbers, one red for sellers and one green for buyers. You don't need to be a pro trader to read it. Just look at the general picture. Do you see a deep, dense wall of orders stacked closely together around the current price? That's fantastic. That's a thick cushion of liquidity. Or do you see just a few orders scattered around with large price gaps in between them? That's a thin order book, a major red flag for slippage. Third, and simplest of all, look at the spread. The spread is the difference between the highest price a buyer is willing to pay and the lowest price a seller is willing to accept. On a highly liquid exchange, this gap is razor thin, maybe just a fraction of a cent. On an illiquid exchange, the gap can be huge. This gap is another hidden cost. Buying and immediately selling on an exchange with a wide spread means you instantly lose money. A tight spread is a hallmark of a healthy liquid market. So remember, it's a 2-part test. Asset selection and liquidity. You need the exchange to list the coins you want to invest in, and you need it to have a deep liquid market for those coins so you can trade them efficiently and at a fair price when the time comes. The paradox is that the exchanges with the most obscure altcoins often have the worst liquidity, while the exchanges with the best liquidity might be a bit slower to list that new undiscovered gem. It's a trade-off you have to consider. So you found an exchange that's secure, has low fees, and lists the assets you want with deep liquidity. You're ready to go, right? Not quite, because how you actually interact with that exchange can be the difference between a seamless, empowering experience and a confusing, frustrating nightmare. That brings us to our 4th key factor: user interface and experience. Think of it like the dashboard of a car. A good dashboard is intuitive. The speedometer is right there, the gas gauge is obvious, the check engine light is impossible to miss. You can glance at it and know everything you need to know to operate the vehicle safely and effectively. Now, imagine a dashboard designed by a mad scientist. The speedometer is in the glove box, the gas gauge is a complex equation you have to solve, and the turn signal is a series of 3 different buttons you have to press in sequence. You could have the most powerful engine in the world under that hood, but if the dashboard is unusable, you're not going anywhere fast. In fact, you're probably going to crash. That's what user interface or UI is. It's the dashboard of your crypto exchange. And the user experience or UX is how it feels to drive that car. Is it smooth and effortless? Or is it a white-knuckle ride filled with anxiety? This isn't just about pretty colors and modern fonts. This is about clarity, efficiency, and your own sanity. Let's break this down for the 2 main types of people watching this. First, the beginner. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah has heard about Bitcoin from her friends, she's done a little research, and she's ready to buy her first $100 worth. She's excited but also nervous. The last thing she needs is to log into an exchange and be greeted by what looks like the control panel for a nuclear submarine. For Sarah, a great user experience is all about simplicity and guidance. When she logs in, she should see a big friendly button that says Buy Crypto. When she clicks it, it should ask her 2 simple questions. What do you want to buy? And how much do you want to spend? It should clearly show her the price, any fees associated with the purchase, and exactly how much crypto she'll receive. The entire process from logging in to seeing that new Bitcoin in her account should take less than a minute and feel as easy as ordering a pizza on an app. Exchanges like the standard version of Coinbase or Cash App have absolutely mastered this. They hide the complexity. They understand that for a new user, too much information is paralyzing. Now, a bad user experience for Sarah would be logging in and immediately seeing a screen dominated by a candlestick chart with 10 different technical indicators flashing. She'd see an order book with a waterfall of red and green numbers, and instead of a buy button, she sees options like limit order, market order, and stop loss. She doesn't know what any of that means. She's terrified of clicking the wrong thing and losing her money. So what does she do? She closes the tab. She gives up. The exchange, with its powerful engine, failed because its dashboard was built for a professional race car driver, not a student driver. Now let's talk about that race car driver. Let's call him Mark. Mark has been trading for years. He understands the market, he has a strategy, and he needs tools, data, and speed. For Mark, that simple, beginner-friendly interface is a prison. It's the golf cart we talked about. He needs the nuclear submarine control panel. A great user experience for Mark is one that gives him control and information. He wants to see the advanced candlestick charts with customizable indicators like RSI and MACD. He needs to see the live order book to gauge market depth. He relies on advanced order types like limit and stop-loss orders to execute his strategy precisely and manage his risk. He wants to buy at a specific price, not just the current market price. He needs speed. When the market is moving, a 1-second delay can be the difference between profit and loss. For him, a platform like Kraken Pro, Coinbase Advanced, or Binance.us is a paradise of data and functionality. The very things that overwhelm Sarah are the tools that empower Mark. So you see, good UI is not one size fits all. It's about finding the right fit for you. Are you a Sarah or a Mark? Or are you somewhere in between? The best exchanges actually cater to both. They'll have a simple or basic mode for quick buys and sells, and an advanced or pro mode for active trading, letting you graduate from one to the other as you learn and grow. That's a huge green flag. And this whole experience extends beyond the desktop. Let's be real, most of us are on our phones constantly. An exchange's mobile app is not an afterthought. For many, it's the primary way they'll interact with their portfolio. And a bad mobile app is a deal breaker. What makes a good mobile app? First, security and convenience. Does it support Face ID or fingerprint login? Typing in a long, complex password and a 2-factor authentication code every single time you want to check the price is a massive pain. Second, functionality. Can you do everything on the app that you can do on the website? Some apps offer a stripped-down version where you can only buy or sell at the market price, with no access to advanced charts or order types. If you're an active trader, that's useless. Third, performance. Is the app fast and responsive, or is it buggy and slow? Does it crash during periods of high volatility? The absolute worst feeling in the world is trying to sell a position during a market crash, only to have the app freeze on you. And finally, notifications. A great app will let you set custom price alerts, so your phone buzzes when Bitcoin hits a certain price, allowing you to react quickly without having to stare at charts all day. Before you even deposit $1, download the app for the exchanges you're considering. Play with it. Does it feel intuitive? Is it stable? If the app feels cheap and clunky, it's a reflection of the company's priorities. But the user experience goes even deeper than the interface. It's the entire journey. Think about the sign-up process. Is it a smooth, 10-minute process, or does it feel like you're applying for a mortgage, followed by a week of silence while they verify your documents? How about depositing and withdrawing money? Are the instructions clear? Are there multiple options like ACH bank transfer, wire transfer, or debit card? How long does it take for your money to show up or be sent back to your bank? A great experience means these fundamental processes are seamless and transparent. And here's a big one that often gets overlooked: educational resources. Does the exchange offer articles, videos, or tutorials explaining what crypto is, how trading works, and what all those complicated terms mean? An exchange that invests in educating its users is an exchange that wants its users to succeed in the long term. They're not just trying to make a quick buck off of trading fees from confused beginners. They're building a relationship. So here's your homework. Before you commit, I want you to test drive 2 or 3 different exchanges. Create a free account on each. Don't deposit any money yet. Just click around. Explore the dashboard. Find the buy and sell buttons. See if you can find the fees page. Download their mobile apps and log in. See how each one feels. One of them will likely just click with you. It will feel more logical, more comfortable. That's the one you should lean towards. Choosing an exchange based on its user experience is about choosing your co-pilot for this journey. You want one that speaks your language, gives you the right amount of information, and makes you feel confident behind the wheel. Because while a great interface can make your crypto journey smooth and enjoyable, a poor one can be frustrating. And when things go genuinely wrong, when a deposit goes missing, or you get locked out of your account, the design of the buttons is the last thing you'll care about. What you'll care about then is whether there's a real, competent human being you can talk to who can actually help you. And that brings us to our 5th and final key factor, which is arguably the one that matters most when things hit the fan: customer support and reputation. Let's be brutally honest for a second. In the world of crypto, everything feels great when it's working. The price is going up, your trades are executing instantly, you feel like a financial genius. In those moments, customer support is the last thing on your mind. It's like fire insurance for your house. You pay for it, you know it's there, but you really hope you never ever have to use it. But when the kitchen is in flames, when your account is suddenly locked, a deposit goes missing, or you see a withdrawal you didn't authorize, the quality of that support suddenly becomes the only thing that matters. It's the dividing line between a minor headache and a catastrophic, gut-wrenching financial loss. An exchange can have the lowest fees in the world and a million different coins, but if you can't get a competent human being on the line when your life savings are vanishing before your eyes, none of it matters. This isn't like your Netflix account getting locked. This is your money, your future, and the level of support should reflect that. So what does good support actually look like? It breaks down into 3 key areas: channels, availability, and competence. First, the channels. How can you actually contact them? The absolute bottom tier is an exchange that only offers email or a ticket-based system. This is a massive red flag. Why? Because it means they are in complete control of the conversation's pace. You send a desperate email saying your account is compromised, and you might get an automated response saying they'll get back to you in 7 to 10 business days. In crypto, 7 to 10 business days is an eternity. The hacker could be retired on a beach in a non-extradition country by then. A step up from that is live chat. But you have to be careful here. Many exchanges use a frustratingly stupid chatbot as their first line of defense. You'll spend 10 minutes trying to phrase your complex problem in a way that the bot understands, only for it to give you a link to a FAQ article you've already read. What you're looking for is 24/7 human live chat, where you can quickly get past the bot and talk to a real person. But the gold standard, the absolute non-negotiable for any serious exchange, is phone support. The ability to pick up a phone, dial a number, and hear a human voice on the other end is priceless. Think about the panic you'd feel. Your password isn't working. You get an email about a login from a different country. You need to lock your account right now. Do you want to be typing frantically into a chat box, hoping someone sees it? Or do you want to be on the phone with a security specialist who can freeze everything in 30 seconds? For me, the answer is obvious. The fact that many major exchanges still don't offer robust phone support is, frankly, unacceptable. Next is availability. The crypto market never sleeps. It's a 24/7/365 global machine. An exchange that only offers customer support from 9 to 5 on weekdays in a single time zone is not a serious player. A market-moving event can happen at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. A hack can happen at any time. You need to know that no matter when disaster strikes, someone is there to help. 24/7 support isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental requirement for any platform handling this much money in a market this volatile. Finally, and most importantly, is competence. Getting a fast response is useless if the person responding has no idea what they're talking about. A support agent who just reads from a script and can't solve your problem is arguably worse than no support at all, because they give you a false sense of hope. The best exchanges invest heavily in training their support staff. Their agents understand not just how the platform works, but the nuances of blockchain technology. They can explain the difference between a wallet address and a transaction hash. They can help you troubleshoot a failed withdrawal, because they understand network congestion. They can calmly and effectively walk you through securing your account after a phishing attempt. This level of competence is what separates the professional-grade exchanges from the amateur-hour operations. So how do you figure all this out before you sign up and deposit your money? This is where reputation comes in. An exchange's reputation is the collective memory of every customer they've ever helped, and every customer they've ever failed. You need to become a digital detective. Your first stop should be Reddit. Don't just go to the main cryptocurrency subreddit. Go to the specific subreddit for the exchange you're considering. For example, r/Coinbase, r/Kraken, r/Gemini. And don't just read the top posts of all time. Filter the results by new, and just scroll. Read the daily experiences of real users. Are you seeing post after post with titles like "Funds locked for 3 months? Support won't respond?" Or "Withdrawals stuck in pending for weeks"? If you see a pattern of the same complaints over and over again, run. Every company will have some complaints, that's normal. What you're looking for are systemic, recurring problems, especially around withdrawals and support response times. Your next stop is Twitter or X. Search for the exchange's name along with keywords like frozen, support, scam, or locked. Twitter is a real-time fire hose of user sentiment. You'll see the raw, unfiltered anger of people who are having problems right now. Pay attention to how and if the exchange's official support account responds. Are they actively helping people or just posting generic "please DM us" messages? And of course, there's the exchange's history. This is non-negotiable. You need to do a deep dive into the company's past. Has it ever been hacked? Almost every major exchange has faced security incidents, but what matters is how they responded. When Binance was hacked in 2019, they were transparent about it and used their own emergency funds to make every single user whole. Nobody lost a dime. That builds trust. Compare that to exchanges like MTGOX that collapsed, taking all their users' money with them. Look at their regulatory history. Have they had major run-ins with regulators like the SEC? Are they constantly playing whack-a-mole with the law? Or do they have a clear history of trying to comply with regulations in the jurisdictions they operate in? And this brings us to the biggest cautionary tale in the history of crypto, FTX. On the surface, FTX looked amazing. They had low fees, a slick interface, and celebrity endorsements from Tom Brady and Larry David. They were the cool kids. But it was all a house of cards. Their reputation was built on hype and marketing, not on a solid foundation of security, compliance, and transparency. People ignored the red flags because the price was going up and the commercials were funny. They trusted a charismatic founder instead of doing their own due diligence on the company's actual operations and history. And when it all came crashing down, people lost everything. There was no customer support to call. There was no insurance fund. There was just a bankruptcy court. The lesson from FTX is that reputation isn't about how cool an exchange seems. It's about boring stuff. It's about years of steady, reliable operation. It's about a public leadership team with a verifiable track record. It's about a history of making users whole after a crisis. It's about transparent proof of reserves and clear terms of service. An exchange's reputation is its promise to you that they'll be there not just on the good days, but on the very worst days. And customer support is the single most tangible expression of that promise. When you choose an exchange, you're not just choosing a piece of software. You're choosing a partner to safeguard your assets. Choose one that has proven, over years of operation and through multiple crises, that they take that responsibility seriously. And a serious partner doesn't try to bleed you dry with 1,000 hidden cuts. This brings us to our third, and arguably one of the most misunderstood, factors in choosing an exchange: the fees. Now I know what you're thinking. Fees? How complicated can that be? I'll just pick the one that says 0 commission or lowest fees. If only it were that simple. In the world of crypto, the fee structure is a labyrinth, intentionally designed to be confusing. It's the silent portfolio killer, the invisible tax that eats away at your gains over time without you ever noticing until it's too late. Think of it like this. You book a flight online and the ticket price looks amazing. $99. A steal. But then you go to check out. There's a fee for your seat, a fee for your carry-on bag, a fee to print your boarding pass, a convenience fee for the privilege of giving them your money. By the time you're done, that $99 flight costs $250. Crypto exchanges invented this model. They are masters of the hidden charge, and your job is to become a master of spotting them. Because what looks cheap on the surface is often the most expensive choice in the long run. So let's pull back the curtain. There are really three main types of fees you absolutely must understand. The first and most common are the trading fees. This is where you'll hear the terms maker and taker fees. It sounds like complex Wall Street jargon, but the concept is simple. Imagine a farmer's market. Some people set up stalls to sell their vegetables. They are making the market. They're providing the supply, the liquidity. Other people walk through the market and buy the vegetables that are already there. They are taking from the market. They're removing that supply. In crypto, it's the same thing. A maker order is one that doesn't get filled immediately. You're setting a price and waiting. For example, you place a limit order to buy Bitcoin, but only if the price drops to $60,000. Your order goes onto the order book, adding liquidity, waiting for someone to match it. You are a market maker. A taker order, on the other hand, is when you want to buy or sell right now at the current market price. You hit the buy button, and the transaction happens instantly. You are taking the liquidity that the makers provided. Why does this matter? Because exchanges want liquidity. They need a deep pool of buyers and sellers to function. So they reward the makers with lower fees and charge the takers a little bit more. On a good exchange, the difference might be small, say a 0.1% fee for makers and a 0.2% fee for takers. But on other platforms, the difference can be substantial. Understanding this is your first key. If you plan on setting precise entry and exit points with limit orders, you're a maker. If you just want to click buy and get your crypto instantly, you're a taker. You need to check the fee schedule for the type of trader you are. But that's just the fee they tell you about. The second, more sinister fee is the one they don't. It's called the spread. The spread is the difference between the price an exchange is willing to buy a coin from you and the price they're willing to sell it to you. This is the primary business model for many of the zero-fee or commission-free apps that are so popular with beginners. They aren't a charity. They're making a fortune on the spread. Here's how it works. Let's say the true global market price of one Bitcoin is exactly $60,000. You go to a commission-free app to buy it. On their screen, the price to buy is $60,200, and the price to sell is $59,800. That $400 difference is the spread. When you buy, you're instantly down $200 from the real market price. If you were to sell it back 1 second later, you'd lose another $200. They pocket the $400. It's not a fee on your receipt, but it is absolutely a cost you are paying. It's a hidden tax on every single transaction. For a one-time $10 purchase, you might not notice. But if you're investing hundreds or thousands of dollars over months and years, this spread will cost you more than any transparent trading fee ever would. It's the difference between buying a product at a store with a clear price tag versus haggling at a tourist trap where the starting price is always inflated. A reputable exchange will have a very tight spread, sometimes just pennies or a few dollars on major assets, because their business model is based on transparent trading fees, not on tricking you with inflated prices. The third type of fee is the one that gets you on the way in and on the way out, deposit and withdrawal fees. Getting your US dollars onto an exchange is usually free if you use an ACH bank transfer, which might take a few days to clear. If you want your money there instantly using a debit card or a wire transfer, expect to pay a fee, sometimes a hefty percentage. But the real landmine is on the way out, specifically when you withdraw your crypto. Let's say you've bought your Bitcoin, you've learned about self-custody, and now you want to move it to your own secure hardware wallet. Every exchange will charge you a fee for this. Part of that fee covers the network's transaction cost, the gas fee, required to process the transaction on the blockchain. This is normal and unavoidable. However, many exchanges will add their own significant markup on top of that network fee. They might charge you a flat fee of, say, $30 worth of Bitcoin to withdraw, even when the actual network cost is only $5. They are profiting from you taking custody of your own assets. This is a critical factor to check. Find the withdrawal fee schedule. See if they charge a flat fee or if it's dynamic based on network congestion. An exchange that facilitates easy and cheap withdrawals respects your ownership. One that penalizes you for it sees you as a captive customer. So how do you put this all together? You have to look at the whole picture. Let's imagine two friends, Sarah and Tom. They both decide to start investing in crypto. They each put in $100 a week for an entire year, for a total investment of $5,200. Sarah is a beginner and she's attracted by simplicity. She chooses a popular app that advertises commission-free trading. It's super easy to use. She just hits buy every week. She doesn't realize it, but her app has an average spread of 1.5%. She's not charged a fee, but 1.5% of her $5,200 or $78 is instantly vaporized by the spread. Then, at the end of the year, she decides to move her crypto to a hardware wallet and gets hit with another $30 flat withdrawal fee. Her total cost for the year, $108. Tom, on the other hand, does a little more research. He chooses a more advanced exchange. The interface is a bit more complex, but he learns the difference between a maker and a taker order. Since he's just buying at the market price each week, he pays the taker fee, which on this platform is 0.4%. Over the year, 0.4% of his $5,200 investment is $40.80. At the end of the year, he withdraws his crypto. This exchange charges a fair, dynamic withdrawal fee based on the network, which averages out to about $5. His total cost for the year, $25.80. Both invested the exact same amount of money in the exact same asset. But after 1 year, Tom has over $80 more in his portfolio than Sarah, simply because he chose an exchange with a transparent, fair fee structure. Now multiply that over a 5-year bull run. We are talking about thousands of dollars in difference. Thousands of dollars you're just giving away to the exchange for no reason. So before you choose, do this. Don't just read the marketing headline. Go find the fee schedule page on the exchange's website. It's often buried in the footer. Look at the maker and taker fees for your expected trading volume. Open the actual trading interface for Bitcoin and look at the buy price and the sell price. Do the math. What is the spread? Finally, find the withdrawal fees for both US dollars and for the specific crypto you plan on buying. A few minutes of this detective work can save you a fortune. Choosing an exchange based on fees isn't about being cheap. It's about being smart. It's about recognizing that every fraction of a percent you save is a fraction of a percent that stays in your pocket, compounding for your future. But finding a platform that won't bleed you dry with fees is only part of the equation. Because low fees don't mean a thing if the exchange doesn't even have the assets you want to buy, or the tools you need to build your wealth. And that brings us to our fourth critical factor: the selection of coins and the features available on the platform. Now, imagine for a moment that you walk into a grocery store. You're there to buy ingredients for a specific recipe, let's say a fancy lasagna. But this grocery store only sells 3 things: milk, bread, and eggs. Sure, the prices are great and the checkout is fast, but you can't make your lasagna. You can't achieve your goal. This is exactly what it's like choosing a crypto exchange based on fees alone. An exchange is your gateway to the digital asset economy, and if that gateway only leads to a few well-trodden paths, you might miss out on the very reason you got into crypto in the first place. Let's start with the most obvious part: the coins themselves. At a bare minimum, any reputable exchange in the United States will offer Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are the two titans, the blue chips of the crypto world. If an exchange doesn't offer them, you should close the tab and run. It's a non-starter. But beyond that, the crypto universe explodes into thousands of different assets. And this is where exchanges begin to show their true colors and philosophies. You have the exchanges that act like highly curated, exclusive art galleries. Think of Coinbase or Gemini. They have a very strict listing process. For a coin to get on their platform, it has to go through rigorous legal, security, and compliance checks. This is fantastic for beginners. It acts as a protective filter, shielding you from the most obvious scams and poorly constructed projects. When you buy an asset on Coinbase, you have a certain level of assurance that it's a legitimate project with a real team behind it. The downside: the selection can feel limited. You might hear about a hot new project on social media, a potential 100x gem, but you can't buy it on your trusted, easy-to-use platform. Then you have exchanges that are more like massive superstores, the Costcos of the crypto world. Think of Kraken or, in the past, Binance.us. They offer a much wider variety of assets. You'll find the big names, but you'll also find a deeper selection of established altcoins. Coins like Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Polkadot, and even some newer, more speculative plays. This is great for the intermediate user, the person who has done their research and wants to diversify beyond the top two. It gives you more freedom, more choice, and the potential to get in on promising projects before they hit the mainstream platforms. The trade-off is that you, the user, bear a greater responsibility to do your own research. Just because it's listed doesn't mean it's a guaranteed winner. And finally, you have the global exchanges and decentralized exchanges, which are like the wild, sprawling bazaars of the crypto world. These platforms list hundreds, sometimes thousands of coins, including brand new meme coins and highly experimental projects. For US customers, accessing the centralized versions of these can be tricky due to regulations, but they represent the far end of the spectrum. The potential for explosive gains here is matched only by the potential for catastrophic losses. It's the high-risk, high-reward frontier. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of investor am I? Are you a just-the-hits person who wants to stick with the relative safety of Bitcoin and Ethereum? A curated exchange like Coinbase is perfect. Are you an explorer, someone who wants to build a diversified portfolio of top 20 or top 50 projects? An exchange with a broader selection like Kraken might be a better fit. Or are you a speculator willing to risk it all on the next big thing? You might eventually need to look beyond the standard US exchanges. Your personal strategy dictates which exchange's coin selection is right for you. But the assets you can buy are only half the story. The other, arguably more important half, is what you can do with those assets once you own them. This is where we talk about features, and this is where a good exchange becomes a powerful wealth-building tool. The most important feature for long-term investors right now is staking. In the simplest terms, staking is a way to earn rewards on your crypto by helping to secure the network. Think of it like earning interest in a high-yield savings account, but instead of a bank paying you, the blockchain network itself is rewarding you for your participation. For proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana, you can stake your coins, and in return, you receive more of that coin as a reward. This is a game changer. It turns a static asset that just sits in your account into a productive, yield-generating machine. And different exchanges handle staking very differently. Some, like Kraken, are renowned for their user-friendly staking services, offering competitive rates on a wide variety of coins. They make a complex process as simple as clicking a button. Other exchanges might offer staking on fewer assets or take a larger cut of the rewards. If your plan is to buy and hold for the long term, choosing an exchange with robust, easy-to-use staking features is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make. It allows your investment to compound and grow on its own, separate from any price appreciation. Closely related to staking are earn programs. This is where you lend your crypto to the exchange or its partners in exchange for interest. Now, it's critically important to understand the difference here. Staking involves a protocol-level risk. The risk is in the code of the blockchain itself. Lending, however, involves counterparty risk. You are trusting a company with your assets. The failures of companies like Celsius and BlockFi in 2022 are a brutal lesson in what happens when this risk goes wrong. While some US exchanges still offer earn programs, you must approach them with extreme caution and understand that you are giving up custody of your coins for that yield. For most people, staking is a much safer way to generate returns. Next, let's talk about the actual trading experience. Most exchanges offer two interfaces, a simple one and an advanced one. The simple version is what most people see first. It's clean, has a big buy and sell button, and shows you a basic price chart. It's designed to be foolproof, but it often comes with higher, hidden fees in the form of a spread, the difference between the buying and selling price. The advanced trading interface, sometimes called Coinbase Advanced or Kraken Pro, is where the real magic happens. First, it can look intimidating. You'll see a complex chart with flashing numbers, a list of orders called the order book, and various trading options. But this is the interface you want to learn to use. Why? Because it gives you control and saves you money. Here you can place specific types of orders. Instead of just buying at the current market price, you can set a limit order, which says, I only want to buy Bitcoin if it drops to this specific price. This allows you to strategically enter the market instead of just accepting whatever price is available. You can also set stop-loss orders to automatically sell if the price drops to a certain level, protecting your downside. Mastering these tools is what separates a casual buyer from a strategic investor, and the best exchanges provide a seamless and powerful advanced trading platform. Beyond these core features, Exchanges will compete with a whole suite of other perks. You have recurring buys, which let you automatically invest a set amount of money every week or month. A fantastic tool for dollar cost averaging and building your position over time. Some exchanges, like Crypto.com or Coinbase, offer crypto debit cards that let you spend your digital assets in the real world and earn crypto rewards back. Others are building out NFT marketplaces, tax reporting tools, and even private wealth services for high net worth individuals. Ultimately, you need to look at an exchange not just as a place to buy a coin, but as an entire financial ecosystem. Are you just dipping your toes in? Or are you planning to build a significant portion of your net worth in this space? Your answer will guide you. A simple, curated platform is perfect for the former. But for the latter, you need a powerful, feature-rich ecosystem that offers staking, advanced trading tools, and a wide selection of quality assets. You need a platform that can grow with you, from your first $10 Bitcoin purchase to your first time staking Ethereum to secure the network and earn passive rewards. Choosing the right platform is about aligning the exchange's philosophy and tool set with your own personal financial goals. And the final piece of this puzzle, the one that underpins everything we've just discussed, is arguably the most important of all. It's the foundation upon which your entire crypto journey will be built: security and trust. Because in the world of crypto, unlike traditional banking, there is no safety net. There is no universal FDIC insurance that magically makes you whole if your exchange goes bankrupt. When you deposit your money onto a centralized crypto exchange, you are handing over control. You are giving them your assets and trusting, truly trusting, that they will be good stewards of your capital. This brings us to one of the oldest and most important adages in the entire crypto space. Not your keys, not your coins. What does that mean? In crypto, ownership is defined by control of a unique cryptographic key, called a private key. Think of it as the master password to a specific vault on the blockchain. Whoever has that key owns the assets inside. When you buy Bitcoin on an exchange and leave it there, you don't actually hold that private key. The exchange does. What you have is an IOU, a promise from the exchange that they have your crypto and will give it to you when you ask for it. You are trusting their security, their solvency, and their integrity. And history has shown time and time again that this trust can be catastrophically misplaced. Let's take a trip back to 2014. The biggest Bitcoin exchange in the world, handling over 70% of all transactions, was a Tokyo-based company called MTGOX. It was the titan of the industry. Then one day it went dark. Trading was halted. Withdrawals were frozen. Panic set in. It was later revealed that hackers had been slowly siphoning off funds for years, culminating in a loss of 850,000 Bitcoin. At today's prices, that would be tens of billions of dollars. For the users, it was a total wipeout. Their life savings, their hopes for a new financial future, vanished into thin air. The legal battles to recover a fraction of those funds are still ongoing. A full decade later, you might think, okay, that was the Wild West. Things are different now. And they are, but the fundamental risk remains. Fast forward to 2022, FTX. This wasn't some shadowy, unknown entity. It was a multi-billion-dollar behemoth with its name on sports arenas, Super Bowl commercials, and celebrity endorsements. It was seen as the gold standard, the safe, regulated choice for a new generation of investors. Its founder was on the cover of magazines, testifying before Congress, and hailed as a financial prodigy. And then, in the span of about a week, the entire house of cards collapsed. It wasn't a sophisticated hack from the outside. It was something far worse. A profound betrayal of trust from the inside. Customer funds weren't just stored insecurely. They were allegedly being misused, gambled away through a sister hedge fund. When the market turned, the money was gone. Billions of dollars belonging to millions of people simply evaporated. The lesson from MTGOX and FTX is not that crypto is a scam. The lesson is that the choice of where you interact with crypto is a decision with monumental consequences. Security and trust are not just bullet points on a feature list. They are the entire foundation. So, how do you, as a user in the US, evaluate this? What are the tangible things you need to look for? First, and absolutely non-negotiable, is two-factor authentication, or 2FA. This is the most basic layer of personal account security. It means that to log in, you need two things: something you know, your password, and something you have, your phone or a physical security key. Critically, you should always opt for an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Authy over SMS-based 2FA. Why? Because hackers have become very skilled at a technique called SIM swapping. where they trick your cell phone provider into transferring your number to a phone they control. Once they have your number, they get your SMS 2FA codes. An authenticator app is tied to your physical device, not your phone number, making it vastly more secure. If an exchange doesn't offer robust 2FA options, close the tab and never look back. Second, look for how the exchange stores customer funds. The gold standard is called cold storage. This means the vast majority of user assets, typically 95% or more, are held offline, in devices that are not connected to the internet. Think of it like a bank's main vault. The daily transactions happen from a smaller, internet-connected hot wallet, which is like the cash in the teller's drawers. By keeping the bulk of the funds in cold storage, exchanges dramatically reduce the attack surface for hackers. A reputable exchange will be very public and proud about their cold storage policies. They'll tell you what percentage of funds are kept offline. If they're silent on this topic, it's a massive red flag. Third, let's talk about insurance. This is a nuanced topic in crypto. First, check if the exchange offers FDIC insurance on your US dollar balances. This is crucial. Platforms like Coinbase and Gemini, for example, hold customer USD in FDIC-insured partner banks. This means if the bank fails, your cash up to $250,000 is protected. But, and this is a critical distinction, FDIC insurance does not cover your crypto assets. For that, you need to look for private crypto insurance. Many top exchanges carry insurance policies to cover losses from their hot wallets in case of a security breach. However, you need to read the fine print. These policies almost never cover losses from an individual account compromise, like if you get phished, and may not be large enough to cover a catastrophic, FTX-style event where the entire exchange becomes insolvent. Insurance is a valuable layer of protection, but it is not an invincible shield. Fourth, and this is a concept that has gained huge traction since the FTX collapse, is proof of reserves or POR. This is a cryptographic method that allows an exchange to publicly prove that they hold customer assets on a one-to-one basis. In simple terms, they use a clever bit of math to show the world, here is a list of all our customer balances, and here is proof that we control the wallets on the blockchain that hold at least that much crypto. It's a direct response to the kind of off-the-books funny business that brought down FTX. It's a commitment to radical transparency. Exchanges that are proactively publishing regular, audited proof of reserves are signaling that they have nothing to hide. This is quickly becoming a new industry standard, and you should heavily favor platforms that embrace it. Finally, all of this is wrapped in the concepts of regulation and reputation. Is the exchange based in the United States and compliant with U.S. regulations like the Bank Secrecy Act? Are they registered with FinCEN as a money services business? Offshore exchanges that actively court U.S. customers while avoiding U.S. regulations are playing a dangerous game, and you don't want your money caught in the crossfire. Look at the company's history. How long have they been operating? Have they survived multiple market cycles, both bull and bear? A company that has weathered the crypto winters of 2018 or 2022 has proven a level of resilience and operational maturity that newer, flashier platforms haven't. Who are the founders and the executive team? Are they public, reputable figures with a track record, or are they anonymous avatars on Twitter? In the end, choosing an exchange based on security isn't about finding the platform with zero risk. Risk is inherent. It's about finding the platform that acknowledges that risk and has built a fortress of verifiable, transparent, and robust defenses against it. Because the slickest user interface, the lowest fees, and the widest selection of coins are all utterly worthless if you wake up one morning and your money is gone. Now that we've covered these 5 critical pillars: regulation, fees, asset selection, user experience, and the all-important security and trust, you have the complete framework. You have the questions you need to ask. The next step is to put it all together, to weigh these factors against each other, and to walk through how you can apply this knowledge to make your final, confident decision. So let's bring this all home. Because theory is one thing, but action is another. The goal isn't just to know what the 5 factors are. It's to know how to weigh them against each other to fit your unique situation. The secret is that there is no single best crypto exchange. The best exchange for a professional day trader is almost certainly the wrong exchange for someone making their first ever $50 Bitcoin purchase. So how do you decide? You create a personal scorecard. You become the judge. You take our 5 key factors: security, fees, asset selection, ease of use, and advanced features, and you decide which ones matter most to you. Let's walk through a few real-world scenarios to see how this works in practice. Imagine a user we'll call Sarah. Sarah is a complete beginner. She's heard about crypto from friends, she's watched a few videos, and she's finally ready to dip her toes in the water. She wants to buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe a little bit of another well-known coin, and just hold it. She's nervous about the complexity and scared of being hacked. What does Sarah's scorecard look like? For Sarah, factor number 1 with a bullet is ease of use. If the app is confusing, if the buttons are unclear, if she can't figure out how to simply connect her bank account and make a purchase, she's going to give up. A clean, intuitive, almost minimalist interface is her top priority. She needs an experience that holds her hand, not one that throws her into the deep end. Her number 2 priority is security, but not the nitty-gritty, self-custody kind of security. She's looking for institutional trust. Is this a well-known, publicly traded company? Is it regulated in the US? Does it have a strong reputation and insurance on its cash deposits? She wants to feel like her money is with a legitimate financial institution, not some shadowy offshore entity. What about the other factors? Fees are probably number 3. She doesn't want to get ripped off, but she's willing to pay a slight premium for the convenience and peace of mind that comes with a simple, secure platform. She's not trading frequently, so a small percentage fee on a few buys isn't a deal-breaker. Asset selection is way down at number 4. She only wants the big, established players anyway. She doesn't care if the exchange lists 100 different meme coins. And finally, advanced features are dead last at number 5. Charting tools, complex order types, futures trading, that's all just noise to her. It would probably just confuse and intimidate her. So, for Sarah, the ideal exchange is one that scores a 10 out of 10 on ease of use and security, even if it only scores a 6 or 7 on fees and asset selection. She can immediately rule out any platform that looks like a spaceship cockpit. Her choice is simplified. Now let's consider a completely different user. Let's call him Mike. Mike isn't a beginner. He's been investing for a few years, he understands market dynamics, and he wants to actively trade crypto to generate short-term profits. He plans on making multiple trades per week, sometimes even per day. What does Mike's scorecard look like? It's almost the complete opposite of Sarah's. For Mike, the number 1 most important factor is fees. Specifically, the maker-taker trading fees. When you're trading in high volume, the difference between a 0.1% fee and a 0.4% fee is monumental. It can be the difference between a profitable strategy and a losing one. He's looking for an exchange with a tiered fee structure that rewards higher trading volume with lower fees. He will pore over the fee schedules of different platforms because, for him, that's a direct cost that eats into his bottom line. Tied for first place, or maybe a close second, are the advanced features. Mike needs that spaceship cockpit. He requires high-quality charting tools with technical indicators, a full range of order types like stop losses and take profits, and crucially, high liquidity. Liquidity means there are lots of buyers and sellers at any given time, so he can execute his trades instantly at the price he wants without significant slippage, which is where the price moves against him between the time he clicks the button and the time the trade actually goes through. What about the other factors for Mike? Security is still very important, probably his number 3. He needs to know the platform is robust and won't get hacked, but he's also more likely to move funds to his own private wallet, so he might be less concerned about long-term custody on the exchange itself. Asset selection is his number 4. He wants a good variety of coins with high trading volume, but he's more focused on trading the established pairs that have good liquidity, rather than hunting for obscure gems. And what's dead last for Mike? Ease of use. He doesn't care if the interface is complex. In fact, he expects it to be. He's willing to spend the time learning a powerful tool if it gives him an edge. A simple interface probably lacks the features he needs. So Mike is looking for a platform that scores a 10 out of 10 on fees and features, even if its basic buy-sell interface isn't as slick or beginner-friendly as the one Sarah would choose. He's looking at the pro, or advanced versions of exchanges. Let's take a third persona. Chloe, the altcoin hunter. Chloe is convinced the next 100x return is hiding in a small-cap project. Her entire strategy revolves around finding and investing in new, lesser-known cryptocurrencies before they hit the mainstream. For Chloe, her scorecard is completely dominated by one single factor: asset selection. It is, without a doubt, her number 1 priority. She is looking for the exchange that lists the most coins, the newest coins, and has the most trading pairs. She wants access to the entire crypto ecosystem, not just the top 20. She will actively seek out exchanges known for their massive variety of assets. Because of this singular focus, her other priorities get rearranged. Security is still a high concern, probably number 2, because many exchanges that list hundreds of obscure tokens are often based overseas and operate in regulatory gray areas. She has to be extra diligent. She has to ask, does this exchange have a history of hacks? What are people saying about its withdrawal process? She accepts a higher level of risk, but she still needs a baseline of trust. Fees are her number 3. They matter, but she's more concerned with being able to buy the asset in the first place. She's willing to pay a slightly higher fee to get access to a token that's not available anywhere else. Ease of use and advanced features are at the bottom. Like Mike, she can handle a complex interface, and while trading tools are nice, her primary action is buying and holding these smaller coins, not high-frequency trading. Chloe's journey highlights a critical trade-off in the crypto space. Very often, the widest asset selection comes at the cost of regulatory clarity and sometimes, a less certain security posture. It's a risk she's willing to take, but one she must be acutely aware of. So who are you? Are you Sarah, the cautious beginner? Are you Mike, the active trader? Are you Chloe, the adventurous explorer? Or are you some combination of the 3? Maybe you're David, the long-term holder, who prioritizes security and low-cost recurring buys above all else, and you only care about 2 or 3 specific assets. This is the exercise. I want you to pause and literally rank these 5 factors for yourself. Get out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down security, fees, asset selection, ease of use, advanced features. Now, put a number 1 next to the one that is your absolute, non-negotiable priority. Then number 2 and so on until you have your personal ranking. This simple act transforms the entire process. It cuts through the noise. It stops you from getting distracted by a flashy ad for an exchange that's built for a completely different type of user. Once you have your ranked list, you can create a simple decision matrix. List your top 2 or 3 exchange candidates down the side. Across the top, list your 5 factors. Now go through and score each exchange on each factor from 1 to 5 based on your research. And here's the key. When you look at the final scores, give more weight to the factors you ranked as most important. An exchange might have low fees, but if your number 1 priority is ease of use and that exchange's app is a nightmare, it's not the right choice for you. This methodical approach removes the emotion and the fear of missing out from the equation. It replaces it with clarity and confidence. You're not just picking an exchange. You're choosing a strategic partner that is perfectly aligned with your personal crypto journey. You're making an informed decision based on what matters to you and only you. And that's the secret, isn't it? The crypto world screams at you with a million different voices. Pundits on TV, influencers on social media, that one friend who bought a mystery coin and won't stop talking about it. They all tell you what to buy, when to buy, and where to buy it. But through all that noise, the only voice that truly matters is the one that asks, what are my goals? What is my risk tolerance? What kind of investor do I want to be? This entire framework, these 5 key factors, were never about finding the single best crypto exchange in America. Such a thing doesn't exist. It was always about building a lens, a personal filter, through which you can see the entire landscape clearly and find the one platform that is best for you. Think of it as building your own crypto command center. The first pillar you laid down was security. This isn't just a feature, it is the bedrock. It's the non-negotiable foundation upon which everything else is built. Without it, the most amazing coin selection, the lowest fees, the slickest interface. It's all a house of cards on a windy day. We talked about 2-factor authentication, cold storage, insurance funds, and a company's track record. This is your digital fortress. Before you even think about what treasures to put inside, you must be absolutely certain that the walls are high, the gates are strong, and the guards are always on watch. Never ever compromise on this. A 1% lower fee is not worth a 99% chance of losing everything. Security is binary. Either it's world-class or it's worthless. Then, you built the financial architecture of your command center, the fee structure. Fees are the silent partner in every single transaction you make. They can be a gentle tailwind, subtly boosting your long-term returns, or they can be a relentless headwind, slowly eroding your capital with every trade, every deposit, every withdrawal. We demystified the maker-taker model, we exposed the hidden costs of spread, and we highlighted the importance of understanding withdrawal fees before you need to move your assets. An investor who ignores fees is like a marathon runner who ignores the weight of their shoes. It might seem small at first, but over the course of the race, it makes all the difference. Mastering this factor means you're not just participating in the market, you're optimizing your performance within it. With the foundation secure and the architecture efficient, You began to furnish your center with the assets themselves. Coin selection. This is where your personal strategy comes to life. Are you a Bitcoin and Ethereum purist, building a portfolio on the two titans of the industry? Or are you an explorer, seeking to diversify into promising layer 1s, decentralized finance protocols, or emerging blockchain gaming projects? The right exchange for you is one whose digital shelves are stocked with the assets that align with your research and your vision. A limited selection can feel like being an artist with only 3 colors of paint, while an overwhelming selection can be a paradox of choice. The goal was to find that sweet spot, a curated library of quality projects that gives you the tools you need to build the portfolio you envision, without drowning you in a sea of low-quality distractions. Next, you design the control panel, the interface through which you interact with this powerful system. The user experience. This is arguably the most subjective factor, yet one of the most critical. A platform can be the most secure, cheapest, and most diverse in the world, but if using it feels like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in the dark, you're more likely to make a costly mistake than a profit. We explored the difference between a clean, beginner-friendly interface and a complex, professional-grade trading terminal. There is no right or wrong answer here. The best interface is the one that empowers you. It's the one that feels intuitive in your hands, the one that presents complex information with clarity, and the one that gives you confidence, not confusion, when it's time to execute a decision. It's the difference between driving a car with a clear dashboard and a responsive steering wheel, versus one where the controls are unlabeled and the brakes are unpredictable. Finally, we wrap the entire command center in a shield of legitimacy and protection. U.S. regulation and compliance. In the early days, the crypto world was a true Wild West. But that era is over. Today, in the United States, playing by the rules is not optional. It is essential for long-term survival and investor protection. We talked about FinCEN registration, state-by-state money transmitter licenses, and the overall posture of an exchange towards regulators. Choosing a compliant exchange isn't just about following the law. It's about ensuring your assets aren't suddenly frozen because the platform was operating in a gray area. It's about having clear tax reporting tools. It's about knowing that the company you're entrusting with your capital has a legitimate, long-term future in the world's largest economy. This is your peace of mind. This is the bedrock that ensures your fortress isn't just built on sand, but on solid, legally recognized ground. Security, fees, coin selection, user experience, and regulation. These aren't just 5 bullet points on a checklist. They are the 5 pillars of a sound, rational, and personal decision-making process. They are your defense against the hype, the FOMO, and the noise. But now let's address the final hurdle. With all this knowledge, it's easy to fall into a trap of analysis paralysis. You might have a spreadsheet with 10 different exchanges, each with its own pros and cons, and you find yourself frozen, terrified of making the wrong choice. Let me give you a piece of advice. You are not marrying an exchange. You are dating them. It is perfectly acceptable, and in fact often wise, to open accounts on 2 or even 3 different platforms that score highly on your personal framework. You can start small. Deposit $100 into each. Execute a few trades. Try a withdrawal. Get a feel for the user interface. See how their customer support responds. One platform might become your primary hub for long-term holds. Another might be your go-to for trading specific altcoins. And a third might be your on-ramp for turning dollars into crypto. Your strategy can and should be as diversified as your portfolio. The idea that you must find one single perfect exchange to rule them all is a myth. The reality is that sophisticated investors often use a suite of tools, and crypto exchanges are just that, tools. And as you move forward, remember that this landscape is dynamic. It is constantly shifting, evolving, and maturing. The exchange that is best for you today might be acquired, change its fee structure, or be surpassed by an innovative newcomer in 3 years. That's okay, because the most valuable thing you've gained from this process isn't the name of an exchange. It's the process itself. It's the framework. It's the ability to critically evaluate any platform, new or old, against the criteria that matter to you. You are no longer dependent on a top 10 list from a random website. You have developed the skill of due diligence. You have learned how to think for yourself, how to ask the right questions, and how to protect your own interests in this exciting and often chaotic new frontier. This is more than just investing. This is about taking control. For decades, the world of finance has been an opaque system, run by gatekeepers in intimidating glass towers. Crypto, in its purest form, is a challenge to that. It's a movement towards transparency, self-sovereignty, and open access. By choosing an exchange, you are not just opening a trading account. You are casting a vote. You are stepping off the sidelines and becoming an active participant in one of the most significant technological and financial revolutions of our lifetime. So, where do you go from here? You take that first step. Armed with this framework, you revisit your notes, you narrow down your choices, and you begin. Not with your life savings, but with a small, manageable amount you're comfortable experimenting with. You learn by doing. You transform this theoretical knowledge into practical, hands-on experience. Our journey together through this video may be ending, but your personal journey is just beginning. And it doesn't have to be a solo one. If this framework has provided you with clarity and confidence, consider sharing it with one other person you know who is standing at the crypto crossroads, feeling lost and overwhelmed. The best way we can elevate this space is by elevating the knowledge of everyone in it. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us which of the 5 factors was the biggest eye-opener for you. Or, if you're comfortable, share the exchange you chose and the single biggest reason why you chose it based on your personal framework. Your insight, your experience, your story. It could be the final piece of the puzzle that helps someone else in this community make their own informed decision. You came here looking for an answer to a simple question. Which crypto exchange should I choose? But I hope you leave with something far more valuable. A system for making great decisions, a newfound sense of confidence, and the understanding that you are in complete control of your own financial destiny. You are no longer just looking at the map. You're ready to start the engine. Welcome to the driver's seat.